Have you ever loved God and still felt like you were collapsing inside? Not doubting Him, not walking away, just exhausted, so tired that even praying feels heavy. If that is you, hear this carefully. One of the strongest prophets in the Bible reached a point where he asked God to let him die. His name was Elijah, and what happened to him might explain what is happening to you. In 1 Kings chapter 18, Elijah experiences one of the greatest spiritual victories in Scripture. Fire falls from heaven, an entire nation witnesses God's power, and false prophets are defeated. It is dramatic and unforgettable, but the very next chapter tells a completely different story. In 1 Kings chapter 19, Elijah runs for his life. He hides in the wilderness, sits under a broom tree, and says to God, "I have had enough. Take my life." This is not mild discouragement. This is emotional collapse. So what happened? Elijah did not suddenly lose faith. He burned out. Burnout is not weakness. It is prolonged stress without proper recovery. It happens when you have been strong for too long, responsible for too long, available for too long, until something inside you gives way. Elisha had just carried the weight of a nation's spiritual revival. Then he receives a threat from Queen Jezebel, and something in him snaps. Notice something important. God does not rebuke Elijah. He does not say, "Why is your faith so small?" Instead, God lets Elijah sleep. An angel wakes him up and gives him food, then lets him sleep again. Before giving spiritual instruction, God addresses physical exhaustion. Sometimes your spiritual crisis is actually nervous system overload. Elijah was not faithless. He was depleted, and depletion distorts perception. When you are burned out, everything feels catastrophic. Elijah says, "I am the only one left." But that was not true. Later, God tells him there are 7,000 others. Burnout narrows your vision. It makes you feel alone, makes you feel like nothing is working, and makes you forget previous victories. Does that sound familiar? Maybe you have been serving, showing up, being strong for others, trying to grow spiritually, trying to fix your habits, trying to hold everything together. And now you feel empty, not rebellious, just tired. Elijah teaches us something powerful. Exhaustion is not the same as unbelief. Feeling overwhelmed does not mean you do not trust God. Rest is not a lack of spirituality. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is recover. Isolation also makes burnout worse. Because when Elijah withdrew completely, his thoughts became darker. Burnout feeds on silence and solitude without support. Now here is the hopeful part. God did not replace Elijah. He restored him. After rest, God speaks gently. Not in wind, not in fire, but in a still, small voice. God gives Elijah new direction, new purpose, and new companionship. Elijah's story does not end under the tree, and neither does yours. If you are spiritually exhausted right now, pause before condemning yourself. Ask honestly, have I been carrying too much? Have I been resting enough? Have I been isolating myself? Burnout does not mean you are failing God. It may mean you have been trying too hard without recovery. Your faith does not have to be loud to be real. Sometimes it survives quietly. If Elijah could collapse and still be used by God, so can you. You are not weak. You are human. and God knows the difference. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing. This channel exists for Christians navigating anxiety, burnout, doubt, and real emotional battles through Scripture. You are not alone in this, and your story does not end under the tree.